Hello everyone, I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. This week, we take a look at and listen to the Cooper Room as it was set up at the Hilton Anatole in Dallas during the first Southwest Audio Fest. The room was sponsored by JMF Audio of France, their U.S. importer Audio Skies of Los Angeles, and von Schweikert Audio of Riverside, California. I have had the pleasure of collaborating with these partners and scrutinizing several of their brands over the years, at least two of which have taken up residency in my reference system. In particular, the Greek-made Ideon Absolute Digital Suite, and the von Schweikert Audio Ultra 9 loudspeakers, which you see behind me. Given my considerable previous experience with both these room partners, though I had expected this room to sound remarkable, I was quite impressed with what they accomplished here. This would also be the room where I hosted my Friday evening after-hours LP session, which was attended by several followers of my writing and of the channel. The system included the world premiere of the Pear audio analog Aras turntable, 2 steps down from their flagship Odar turntable, and it was fitted with the Miyabi Labs Fuuga MC cartridge. JMF Audio of France may seem like a new name, but they were founded by Jean-Marie Fuselier in 1974. Initially specializing in high-frequency and infrared remote control systems for industrial, defense, and nuclear plant applications, the audio department was spun up in 1985 as a side project driven by a serious passion for high-fidelity music playback. Even if you aren't sure if you've heard of JMF Audio, I'll wager you have heard the JMF sound. Given their high-performance audio commitments beginning in the pro sound world, their electronics are used in studios worldwide, from Paris to Los Angeles, from Nashville in studios like Masterphonics, to Norway at the famous 2L studios, making it highly unlikely that you've never heard a recording produced with their products in the recording chain. As such, the Aras Fuuga analog source fed the JMF Audio 7.2 dual mono phono stage, also in its world premiere appearance. The 7.2 phono stage handed off to the JMF Audio PRS 1.5 line stage, which in turn fed the JMF Audio HQS 7001 monoblocks, which deliver a robust 300 watts into 8 ohms, 500 watts into 4 ohms, and 850 watts into 2 ohms. File playback was handled by the Ideon Absolute suite of products, which I just reviewed in episode 163 here on the channel. Using the Absolute Stream server streamer, the Absolute Time Signature V clock, we also got an opportunity to hear the US premiere of the newly updated 2024 Meta Edition Absolute DAC. The HQS 7001 monos fed a pair of the remarkable von Schweikert Audio Ultra 55s in Porsche Oslo Blue, the current entry point of the VSA Ultra lineup, with the VSA Center Stage 2 LS footers designed by Critical Mass Systems. There were also a pair of the new von Schweikert Audio Shockwave V12XS subwoofers installed at the rear of the room and used for active room correction. Damon von Schweikert will take us through the importance and implementation of this application during his part of the upcoming conversation. Finally, the support for the electronics and sources was provided by Artisania, and the majority of the system cabling used JMF Audio cable products. As usual, all pricing details may be found in today's description section. But now, let's have Michael Vamos of Audio Skies and Damon von Schweikert of von Schweikert Audio walk us through this exceptional system.
Hi, I am Michael Vamos. I am the owner of Audio Skies, or importer and distributor for high-end European brands. We we distribute JMF Audio, Pear Audio, Ideon Audio, Larson speakers, and 11 Design. In this room, we have 3 of our brands here, and we actually have 3 world premieres at the same time. I'll first just tell you about the new turntable from Pear Audio. Pear Audio they have a lot of very innovative designs. One of the things is a very low torque motor, which means it can't go too fast. It can only do the speed that it does very well. And because it's so low torque, it's very, very quiet. It's a sacrificial bearing. It's very unusual as well, which means that all the materials in the turntable are in phase, so nothing fights each other. It's with a separate motor housing, separate arm board. This is the new model called the Aras. It's second from the top of the Pear Audio line, and this is the first they've ever made in the world, which is here. People are reacting very well to this. You know, people are loving it, and it's very natural, musical, dynamic, engaging. We picked it in the burgundy Porsche color, but you can have it any color you want. The other brand that we're having as a source here is Ideon Audio, which all they do is digital. They're out of Greece. They kind of look at digital slightly different than other companies. What I think is their strength is they are not trying to build on own technologies. They are kind of looking at it as, let's design a high-end power amp. So for example, in the DAC, there's 17 separate linear power supplies. Even for the screen, it weighs 65 pounds, it has a class-leading dynamic range of 147 dB, and the output stage is a one-step gain stage without any capacitors in the output stage. So you get this very liquid, doesn't sound digital, lots of dynamics and bass. Their new streamer, which is here, which is also world premiere for the new model. Now they have a room core inside, which is with a linear power supply for the first time from any brand as far as I know. So room now sounds a lot better than if you have the external room core. You can also stream direct to Cobus if you don't want to have room, which is even better. You can of course download files with Ideon's own software. And at the bottom, one of the top reclocker, which is the Signature V. And it's not just for Ideon. Any DAC in the world will benefit from an Ideon reclocker, regardless of brand. Basically, what a great reclocker like this does, it gives your DAC the perfect signal. You get rid of jitter, get rid of distortion, you reclock it, you regenerate so it comes to the DAC with full drive without any latency or loss. And the only cables that we have here from them is the USB cables, which is also from Ideon. This is their top line. The reference is the Absolute Suite. The rest of the system is all JMF audio. We have their smaller monos here with the 7001s, their dual mono preamp, their dual mono smaller phono stage, which is also world premiere here, and their smallest power line filter. JMF is out of France. A lot of people might not know it, but it's been around since the 80s. They've been building amplifiers for the best recording studios all over the world since the 80s. Everybody has a recording that's been recorded on their amps. They're very unique in they're not really considering any marketing considerations. So they only have a reference level. All the R&D is for that. Another unique thing about them is it's the only brand in the world also that uses these very thick 24 karat gold plated boards. They do that for connectivity so you get better sound, but it means you cannot solder by automation. So now you are hand soldering with the old special solder that they have, one leg at a time. It's a very costly, very expensive way of doing it, but I think it pays off in the result. To me, what the result is that you get this very musical, natural, fluid sound. You cannot hear that it's a solid state. You cannot hear if it's a tube. It just plays music. The same goes for their phono stage, their preamp. Power line filter is used by 2L for all their recordings, the famous Norwegian audiophile recording label. and all the cables except for the USB cables is also JMF Audio. And people have been very happy with the sound, and we chose to partner with von Schweikert speakers because I think they share the same core beliefs, which is open, dynamic, natural musical sound. And Damon is here from those guys, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the speakers, which are the Ultra 55s.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm Damon von Schweikert, second generation owner of von Schweikert Audio. My father, the founder, began designing and manufacturing loudspeakers in '76, and over the almost 5 decades we've been doing this, we've created a lot of proprietary technology that we have on display in this room. This is our Ultra 55, which is the entry level into our flagship line of loudspeakers. It comes in what you would find as a traditional passive version for $110,000. And the version we have here on display is the Ultra 55 with foundation technology at $120,000. And why this is important, and it's a technology that we initially introduced with a DB99 in 2004. And over the last 20 years, we've iterated on this, and this is the 4th generation of electronics that we've had in this. And the whole goal, many speaker designers, and the goal is to design a flat linear speaker. And, we do that in test environments and in anechoic chambers or whatever. But ultimately, no matter how expertly linear the speaker is, it's going to be introduced into the real world environment. And the room is going to have a lot of say on how that system performs. So we look for, I would say, elegant solutions for getting the best performance in a customer's home. And I think that's realized in the foundation technology. As a loudspeaker manufacturer, it's important that we respect the signal. The speaker cannot improve that signal. It can only have a detrimental impact on it. So in everything we do, from driver transducer selection, crossover component design, construction, and even layout, signal path, enclosure, and with this foundation technology is to protect the signal as much as possible. So this is even though we have a foundation amplifier in the back, this is a passive analog solution. What we do is we take the high level input from your amplifier into the bottom pair of binding posts, which feed the woofer section just in front, the 2 woofers here in front. We feed that into a Lundahl transformer to step it down. That goes into an amplifier, and then that feeds our passive network, which feeds the drivers. We do all of this to put a gain control on the back of the speaker. As you know, with traditional passive design, you're going to move the speakers around in your room where you're going to find the best bass position for them. It's not the best bass the speakers can do. It's just the best bass you're going to get from those speakers in that room. And that may not be where the best imaging is, and then you're splitting the difference to try and get as much of each as you can. Or aesthetically, a lot of people can't bring the speakers far out in the room. With this level control that you set at setup, you decide where on your priority where the speaker's going to go. In this position for this room, we focused on imaging and soundstage. We found the best position here, and then we set the speaker flat to the room. So you're going to have faster, tighter, deeper bass, and frankly, you're going to have better bass than any other loudspeakers can provide. And it's all analog. It's not. There's no type of signal processing, which obviously will have an impact on the signal. Something we want to avoid. Last but not least, we're employing a technology that we've been using for, again, over 20 years. We have a new product on display here. They're at the back of the room. We have the Shockwave Mark IIs. They're high-end audio loudspeakers. They're, I guess, technically what you would call them a subwoofer because it's a 12-inch in this implementation. We also have a 15-inch with a powered amplifier that has phase, frequency, amplitude, and crossover settings, as well as a LF cut or gain. And we take, again, that high-level input, and we're running it to the back. We're coming right off the binding post. We're running a pair of speaker cables right back to the subs at the back. And what we're doing is we're using them as an active room correction, right? And it's not digital, it's analog. You adjust it with your analog controls. These amps are very robust. They have a 0 to 180 frequency phase with every possible setting in between those, not a flick switch. And then, because we're employing the Lundahl transformer, which isolates these amplifiers from each other, you can invert the phase on the binding post and go from 180 to 360. Also, positioning forward, backwards of the subs or 90-degree angles, it really gives you infinite flexibility in adjusting for the room. What we're doing is we're launching the wave launch from the speakers. And then at the back of the room, so we're launching from the speakers to the back of the room, we're cutting to equalize at the back of the room, which keeps the wave from bouncing back into the room and distorting the next wave launch. Anything that changes this, when we refer to distortion, we're talking about anything that affects the signal, or in this case, the wave launch, which is the physical manifestation of the signal. So by reducing or eliminating that standing wave coming back into the room, you're not just getting faster, tighter, deeper bass. You're getting clearer, cleaner vocals and mids, which is going to give you a lot more information when it comes to spatiality. It affects the entire frequency range. Also, when you walk through the room, you're going to notice there's no dips and peaks. We flatten the nodes out, so you're not going to have great bass here and horrible bass there. And last but not least, and this goes to psychoacoustics, when you come into a room where we have this implemented, you're not subconsciously being assaulted by a wave that is artificial, that has been bounced off the wall and coming back at you. And so at a subconscious level, your mind is at peace and relaxed, and you're able to actually experience the wave launch and the music as it is, and that gives you just a very natural reaction to the wave launch. So I thank you all for the time and listening to this speech. And then we're going to play some music. Greg's got a couple selections he's going to play for us, and I hope you enjoy them. Thank you.
My sincerest thanks to Michael and Damon for both making the time to present all this detail on this remarkable setup and for hosting my After Hours LP session Friday. Those events are always well attended and so very much fun. This system really delivered an exceptional level of performance, with one of its standout strengths being its lucid ability to represent authenticity of timbre. Tone color was rendered with amazingly fine gradation between hues, so free of distortion, so resolute and transparent that it was consistently able to reveal unprecedented nuances and tonal shadings. It delivered such assertive dynamic prowess with an expressive ability to communicate the presence as well as the scale and vitality of the music it recreated. And its ability to resolve so intelligibly the subtle differences among recordings and the nuances of each to reveal staging cues or microphone placement techniques was remarkable. Exhibiting an exceptional facility to resolve low-level spatial cues, it should come as no surprise that its ability to render soundstage layering and to portray image specificity, size, and shape was simply extraordinary. Instrumental locations were dimensionally solid and stable. Image sizes were unquestionably realistic, neither bloated nor diminished. And the sense of air and space around and between these highly individualized voices throughout the stage was captivating. And as much subtlety and fluidity as it was able to communicate in the microdynamic realm, its explosive forcefulness was simply stunning, realistically reproducing weight and impact with a deftness, definition, focus, and clarity. This system seemed to have it all, from its ability to create the most spooky, realistic corporal sense of space, both in terms of overall three-dimensionality and wraparound immersiveness, presenting with effortless, unfettered treble, delivering textured, vibrant mid-range, and rendering the deepest, impactful, powerful, and refined pitch-defined bass. This system just kicked ass. I cannot thank these partners properly for allowing me to share my music with listeners on this simply amazing system, one that easily performed among the topmost of the 5 best performing systems I heard at this new show. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.